Hello, friends, and welcome to Adventures in Pixieland. We are in Bible study. We are in the NIV still, and we'll be through next year too. We are in the book of Mark. We are in chapter 15. And they're blinking again. Okay, and we are doing verses 1. Well, in this video, we're gonna do verses 1 through 20. We're going to do the entire chapter 15 of Mark. It's just the second video will take us through the rest because it has 47 verses. So I've broken in two. And then we'll have one video in the book of, we'll wrap up, actually, 1 John in a separate video. So let's jump in. Jesus before Pilate. Mark 15, verse 1. Very early in the morning, the chief priests with the elders, the teachers of the law, and the whole Sanhedrin reached a decision. They bound Jesus, led him away, and handed him over to Pilate. "Are you the king of the Jews?" asked Pilate. "Yes, it is as you say," Jesus replied. The chief priests accused him of many things. So again, Pilate asked him, "Aren't you going to answer? See how many things they are accusing you of?" But Jesus made no reply, and Pilate was amazed. Now it was the custom at the feast to release a prisoner whom the people requested. A man called Barabbas was in prison with the insurrectionists who had committed murder in the uprising. The crowd came up and asked Pilate to do for them what he usually did. "Do you want me to release the king of the Jews?" asked Pilate, knowing it was out of envy the chief priests handed Jesus over to him. But the chief priests stirred up the crowd to have Pilate release Barabbas instead. "What shall we do then with the one you call the king of the Jews?" Pilate asked them. "Crucify him," they shouted. "Why? What crime has he committed?" But they shouted all the louder, "Crucify him." Wanting to satisfy the crowd, Pilate released Barabbas to them. He had Jesus flogged and then handed him over to be crucified. Now, why flog him if you're going to crucify him? One, in accordance with scriptures. And two, they were trying to, maybe if we punish him, because Pilate really didn't want to do this. In fact, Pilate's wife was very much like, "Do not do this to this man." The soldiers mock Jesus. The soldiers led Jesus away into the palace, that is, the praetorium, and called together the whole company of soldiers. They put a purple robe on him, then twisted together a crown of thorns and set it on him, and then began to call out to him, "Hail, King of the Jews." Again and again they struck him on the head with a staff and spit on him. Falling on their knees, they paid homage to him. And when they had mocked him, they took off the purple robe and put his own clothes on him, and then they let him out to crucify him. Now, this would be the same culture of soldiers that would later start the Roman Catholic Church. So, the soldiers don't start the Roman Catholic Church. The Emperor Constantine starts the Roman Catholic Church. So just, remember when you're going out in the world, if you feel like you got the right to pop off at the mouth and talk however you like to anybody around you, and God is telling you you're not allowed to do that, the more you do those kinds of things, the harder he's going to make you about face. Think about this brutality that they showed Jesus for absolutely no reason, because that wasn't ordered by anybody. They decided to do it on their own. So he took over their whole culture. In fact, he took over all of Rome, and now their main thing is that stuff called the Vatican with that guy called the Pope, whose job is to do what? All right. Do nothing but worship Jesus all day long. So careful with how you pop off at the mouth when you're on the come up. Because God has a history. It's in the Old Testament. He has a history of knocking the people down. When he says no idols, and he says, you don't have the right to treat other people like garbage, he's not really kidding.